And I was sitting there thinking to myself, that's exactly what it is with health. It's the same thing. You have to look at the root of the issue. We just want to look at the symptoms. The doctor will tell you, okay, your blood sugar is high, your blood pressure is high. Here, take this pill. Now your blood sugar and your blood pressure is regulated, right? Yes. So just take this pill every day. So people are under the impression that that's what they have to do. Well, initially, yes. But every day, for the rest of your life, you're willing to take a drug to regulate your blood pressure or blood sugar. Yes, that's what we're going to do if we don't know what else to do. So that's what I do Monday through Friday. People come in and I have them fill out this form because it gives me their health history. We talk about genetics. Yes, genetics plays a role in your health. This asks you if you are on any medications, what you're taking them for, how long you've been on. This asks you if you have any organs removed. That's information a person should know. Because if you don't have your tonsils, your appendix, your gallbladder, then that affects how your body processes and functions. 80% of the population has problems with hydrochloric acid, acid reflux, heartburn, GERDs, whatever you want to call it. But I like to talk to people about how about we put some things in the body that'll help the body neutralize and regulate its own acid levels. How about we change the diet? So that's the next thing I do. I give people actually a packet of information. The first sheet is how to change the diet and lifestyle. On the flip side is a checklist for prevention and nutrition. Have you noticed that our medical center doesn't deal with nutrition and prevention? If you're diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes, do you go talk to the nutritionist so that you can learn that wheat is what's escalating your blood sugar and blood pressure for that matter? No, they don't tell you that because the Food and Drug Administration works together. The foods are causing us to need the drugs, and that's where America wants people to be. And I know that that's a stark accusation, but the facts prove it. The average person in their 40s and 50s is on medication, and everybody thinks that's normal.
Yeah, but how do you I gotta get off the stuff. I'm on the stuff. I mean, it's tough.
Well, first we do need to know. Say, for instance, you have high blood pressure. I could set you up with 10 people that have high blood pressure, and they could all have it for varying reasons. One person might have kidney issues where they're retaining water, so they're on a diuretic, a water pill, right? You have another person who has maybe some blockage in the arteries. So they're on a combination water and maybe calcium channel blocker, high blood pressure medication. Then you have another person who maybe stress, mentally and physically, is causing their blood pressure to stay up. Then you have some other people, they have irregular heartbeat. Their heart isn't beating and pumping blood like it should. So they have something that's going to help regulate the heart. Then you have some people who have angina. They have blockages. Their blood flow around the heart isn't good. All of these are different things that are going on. But I always want to help people, so I always try to give as much information as I can. High potency garlic is something that is great for high blood pressure and high cholesterol. But it won't work for everybody for high blood pressure because it's only addressing a couple of those things that I just talked about. And it's going to work slower than the drugs. So I tell people, if you've been on that drug for a number of years, here's what you need to know, because I've been teaching herbalist courses for years, and it includes nutrition and how the body works. You're going to need to work on that issue 90 days, which is 3 months, and then the math is add 1 month for every year you've had that problem. But that's okay.
Yeah,
because when I say work on it, I'm talking about that diet and lifestyle change.
And that the diet and lifestyle is for life.
For life.
And that process may take 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
And that's
but I would rather put that, because see, when I say I'd rather, I've done it. I was diagnosed with lupus and chronic fatigue. I did not want to have a flare-up. If you have autoimmunity, those of you who've had it, sarcoidosis, lupus, fibromyalgia, MS, even type 1 diabetes, you have flare-ups. So I didn't have a flare up when I went in for my results after the blood and everything was drawn. I was stabilized. And the doctor said, well, it looks like lupus, but we're going to give you prednisone, cortisone shots, so everything will be okay. I said, well, before I jump into taking the medication, which I'm sure I'll be dependent upon, off and on, or regularly, I said, I want to talk about what causes it and what things that I can do to help the body heal it. Oh, there's no cure for lupus.
Yeah, but the whole, we've been through all of this.
Diet and lifestyle change will cure a lot of things.
Well, no, say that again.
Diet and lifestyle changes will cure a lot of things. But how did we get to the point, Mark, where we define cure as a drug?
I know. It's like, I know women have fibroids. Every black woman I know has fibroids, uterus issues.
1 in 3.
And they usually take the fibroids and the uterus out.
Yes.
Can fibroids ever be shrunk? Can you make fibroids go away?
Yes, you can.
But it takes years, doesn't it?
But let me tell you what the problem is. Generally, women don't address it until it's become a huge problem.
Okay, you have a huge.
When I say no pun intended, a huge problem.
A huge fibroid problem. You see women, they look like they're pregnant, but they have fibroids.
Exactly. And their abdomen is rock hard. And those fibroids are rock hard.
When they really get that big, can you reverse that?
You can, but it's going to take more time than the average person is willing to take. And let's consider factors. I get some women who come in who have those fibroids, and they could be at the beginning stages or they could be toward the end, but they have heavy bleeding. Oh, Miss Nance or Medina, I've been bleeding for 30, 40 days straight. Or it's putting so much pressure that I'm in pain. So in those particular cases where you're bleeding out, you might need a blood transfusion. You might need a surgery. Oh yes, it's common for women to have blood transfusions because it's leaching so much blood out of them. So what we have to do is, it's not just a matter of focusing on shrinking the fibroids. First, you have to balance the hormones. The hormones are in balance. They have too much estrogen. And where's all that estrogen coming from? A variety of places. We have xenoestrogens, we can get into that, bad estrogens that are in the food and environment that we're creating and we're not even conscious of. Just like people are creating diabetes and heart disease, aren't even conscious of it. So I have to get women to focus on these things and to say it's not just as simple as you come in and I give you a bottle, here, take this and it'll shrink.
But whether you have fibroids, high blood pressure, and like I said, high fructose corn syrup, all that stuff is going to cause Alzheimer's down the road. Most of us got to go home and clean out our cabinets.
Yes.
Most of the stuff we eat is processed.
And your cabinet is your house, right?
Yeah.
You got to clean your body up, clean your past, and you got to start by changing your cabinet. So that's why the first thing I give a person that's attached is diet and lifestyle.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like kale. I never heard of kale till like 3 or 4 years ago, right? And they said it's one of the best things to eat is kale. But eating kale, I mean, it's okay. Give me a damn hamburger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Kale
is good, but a hamburger tastes better.
Okay. Well, here's what I say to that. Let's look at China. When the company that I worked for sent us to China, we were going to look at Asian modalities of health and lifestyle and healing versus Western modalities of health and lifestyle and healing. One of the first things that they told us was, let's take a look at the Asian plate here in China and let's take a look at the plate in America. And what the guy said is interesting because he said, I got some education in America and lived in America. He said what was funny to him is when he lived in America, if somebody said, what's for dinner? The meat is all they tell you.
Meat.
Oh, what's for
Chicken.
dinner? Steak, chicken, a burger, a hot dog. But let me finish the thought, Mark. Yeah. He said in an Asian plate, he said it isn't as if we don't eat meat. He said, but meat is only 30% of the plate. He said in America, your meal is 70% of the plate. He said, so my issue isn't that you're eating meat. He said, my issue is that you're eating too much meat, too often. And my second issue that I add to his is the beef farm raised and grass fed, or is it hormone injected with antibiotics? Because they're like night and day. So I say if you want to have a burger, but first please, let's clean out the 30, 40, 50 years that we have accumulated, then start off with some good beef.
People watch the show and they want to watch the show. I've said this 10,000 times because I'm one of the people at home watching the show too. They want us to get all this information from you and think they're going to be killed. See, I mean, so what I'm saying, they see this show, some of us, they see the show as entertainment.
Yes.
So they say, oh man, Mark, let her talk. I want to hear what she got to say. But they got to understand. That's a part of it. They got to come see a Medina Nance or somebody like you, do their own research, change their lifestyle. Hopefully their whole church or their whole family, their whole household says, we're going to stop doing this processed food and all this, whatever. We're going to try to change it.
What did you just say earlier?
What?
It might take a crisis.
Don't even mention
That's
that.
why I talk about prevention.
I know.
Because let me repeat.
I know.
Our number one killer is what? Heart disease.
I know.
And with heart disease, 70%, we're not even talking about 50, 70% of the people who have heart attacks and strokes die.
But
that's your first and last
but I'm
time.
saying, I don't want the people.
So we got to do prevention, but most people are going to wait until it's an emergency to take this information serious.
I know. I'm the same way.
And I don't mean change everything overnight. I think that's the big problem. People think that automatically they have to stop eating a burger and have kale. No, you don't. Let's talk realistically. If you have cancer, and maybe it's in the 3rd or 4th stage, or you have cancer period, you come in to see me, I'm going to suggest a book for you called The Rave Diet and Lifestyle. It's a short book, this thin. It's going to give you a shopping list, recipes, the whole 9. The food tastes good, but I'm going to tell you, look, your situation is different than this person who maybe has high blood pressure or diabetes. They got a minute. You don't want to play Russian roulette or go to Vegas with your health and you've been diagnosed with cancer.
And well, just like, people may not know Robin Quivers. She's one of Howard Stern's sidekicks or whatnot.
Yes.
And she had a major health thing. She had cancer or something. And she wrote a book.
Yes.
And she said, I changed my diet in the whole 9.
Yes.
And what's thing up when they bring people like Robin Quivers on television, they call those people quackpots. They have them on for a few seconds, they brush them off.
But the fact that she's sitting there looking good, and what I would do is I would bring my health report. I would bring my health report that said in June of 2008 I was diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, and in August of 2010, my doctor said that I am cancer-free or I'm in overall general good health. That's what people need to do, because belief is one thing, facts are another.
What I'm trying to get at is that, you see on watch the TV news, they always have a cancer run, a diabetes walk, and all this stuff. They making money.
That's you dragging me into another show.
I'm saying they making all this money off this drama, these health dramas. But I said we need to bring on the people who had these spontaneous remissions.
Yeah, because Pam Grier was on Oprah talking about hers.
Sure was.
And it wasn't a spontaneous remission like people would like to think. But on the show, she talked about a lot of her health challenges and how, after talking to her doctor, she went to some Asian doctors. And she talked about how she changed her diet. And Pam Grier looks good. She looked great back in the day, but people saw her in the movie Jackie Brown, and they knew that she was an older actress, but she looks good. And I love Shaka Khan, Chicago's own. She was in the Jet. And I got that Jet magazine because, I'm a we big Shaka Khan fans. She still sounds and looks good. But what I loved in the last article she did was she said, I'm from Chicago. I'm educated on what to do with health. She said it's big there in Chicago. She said, but when I turned, I don't know what it was, in her 50s or something, she said she was diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes. She said, I refused to take those drugs. She said, and I know better, but being under stress, she talked about going to court with her son and having to work all that out. She said, being under stress, I couldn't focus. She said, once I got him settled, she said, I went on a juice fast. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to do this.
Right.
She said, I went on a juice fast. She said, everything I drank for a whole year, everything I took in was in liquid form. Because she had been overweight and probably feeling sluggish and unhealthy for years.
I met Shaka a few years ago.
But do you see how she's looking now at 60?